everyone over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, we are finally back with some Formula 2 action as we commence our 2019 Formula 2 World Championship. You guys know we finished off 2018 driving as Lando Norris and taking the championship by a little bit of dominance, especially in the second half of the season. Now guys, obviously we're going to have to represent a driver and a team for the 2019 championship, and my choosings were between this man, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Jack Aitken, and the later Antoine Hubert. Now, I'm going to tell you guys quickly, I quickly cancelled out Mick Schumacher because actually a lot of other YouTube channels has a F2 career with, well, not career, but an F2 championship where they are driving as Mick Schumacher. So I wanted to do something a little bit different, and Mick Schumacher was the first guy that I cancelled out. The reason I wanted to drive as Jack Aitken is because I absolutely love the look of the Campos racing car. That orange and black is absolutely beautiful. Then Nicholas Latifi, I've grown a little bit fond of Nicholas Latifi actually this year in Formula 2. He's not my favorite driver, that goes to Jack Aitken. But yeah, Nicholas, I feel that he deserved a better car this year with the championship. And he had a really bad luck here, did Nicholas Latifi. And then obviously you guys already know my nostalgia for Antoine Hubert after the event earlier this year at Spa-Francorchamps. So that's the main reason I wanted to drive as Antoine Hubert. And my decision came to between Antoine Hubert and Jack Aitken. The next driver that was cancelled out was Nicholas Latifi. I'm just not a big enough fan of Dams and of Nicholas Latifi. So it was between my favorite F2 driver, between a guy that we all in the motorsport community miss nowadays. And at the end of the day, guys, I did go for the Pink Panther BWT Arden car, and I was going to drive as Antoine Hubert I am going to drive as Antoine Hubert for this Formula 2 championship. Guys, everybody just made like a memorable video for him, and I already did a video myself. If you haven't checked out my memorable video for Antoine Hubert, it was episode 14. Yeah, no, episode 13 of our first season on F1 2019. I dedicated my Belgium Grand Prix where Antoine unfortunately lost his life to him. But guys, I said in that video I would do a proper tribute to Antoine when we receive the F2 2019 cars, and instead of just doing one video, I'm going to dedicate an entire championship towards Antoine Hubert, and we will see if we can win the championship for Antoine Hubert, which he would have won eventually.
The drivers are ready, we're certainly ready. What awaits us today as qualifying starts here in Bahrain?
So guys, just like it's season 1, before I actually talk about that, please drop a like down below. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. Drop a like for Antoine. Guys, we're going to do this season just like we did the previous season. From the second half of the season, we will be doing one-shot qualifying. It's just easier, and it's a little bit quicker with us having 2 races in F2 that I most of the time have to squeeze into one video. So one-shot qualifying is just a smarter decision to go with. Now, as you guys see, heading into the first corner, it's a very tight first corner, and now with me being used to my Season 2 F1 car, yeah, the understeer and the oversteer in these little F2 cars, it was something to get used to. But luckily, I still have a practice session like you guys saw in my settings for how my race weekends would work with this F2 championship. So I do practice and then just get used to the car and used to the tire wear. So I do not skip practice, I still do practice. And as you guys see at this stage, we are P1 actually on the left top hand side of your screen. We go through the middle sector hairpin, a very, very tight hairpin, heading up the hill into the tightest corner of the track, the hardest braking zone as well in my, second hardest braking zone. The hardest braking zone is definitely turn 1. Then onto the power as early as possible, open up DRS as we head down the back, the first of the 2 back straights in the middle sector. Now heading on to one of, many people's favorite section of the track, the double S section. Not the double S section, the single S section with 2 corners. Sorry, I just completely butchered that. Heading to the second S, if you get the perfect line through, you can go flat out with the F2 car, mount the curve on the outside, get the car turned in third gear for this next right-hander and plant the power as early as possible as you come out of the corner, heading onto the second and last back straight. You guys can see we are actually ahead with a reasonable amount at this stage, so stuff is looking juicy for us here as we head into the final quarter. We just missed the curb on the inside, but we still hit an absolutely perfect apex, plant the power on the way out, and we open up the DRS and we come across the line and P!
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Hubert, De Vries and Sergio Sette Camara. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Welcome one and all to the 2019 Formula 2 World Championship. A new season and a new lineup of drivers hungry to make their mark on the world of motorsport. Some new names and some returning favourites, all here to stake a claim on the championship title. Bahrain represents an exceptional 3.36 miles of racing. Lots of opportunities to overtake throughout its 15 corners. Now, this track has a reputation for being brutal on the rear tyres, so keep an eye on how these young drivers manage their rubber. Strategy here could ultimately determine the winner of this race. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi Alex, the team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully, so I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
As we're now moments away from the off, let's take a look at the grid order in which they'll start today's race. What a qualifying from Antoine Hubert. He'll start from pole position. And P2 goes to Nick De Vries, a strong showing from the Dutch driver. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sette Camara, Latifi, Luca Ghiotto, and Aitken, Delatraz, Joe, Galeo, Jordan King, Matsushita, Schumacher, Dorian Boccolacci, and Boschong, Alesi, Correa, Mazepin, and Callum Islands. Calderon, Mahavir Raghunathan starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. Trying to cover the inside line off the start.
I think that is the smartest idea. Guys, an easy one-stop strategy. I'm going for an undercut. I'm going to pit very early to try and defend my lead. So please, jam with me on the formation lap and let's enjoy the 2019 Formula 2 season as Antoine Hubert.
Okay, our system checks are...
you guys ready for the 2019 Formula 2 World Championship? Representing BWT Arden and Antoine Hubert, we head to 5 red lights and it's go, go, go for the 2019 Formula 2 World Championship. We are underway. We cover off the inside to defend from Nick de Vries. We have the inside as we head into the first corner. You guys can see I didn't get the best pull away off of the grid, but we still defend into the first corner. I give Nick de Vries a little bit of a squeeze, and Sergio Sette-Camera goes around the outside for the inside of T2, and he has snatched P2 away from Nick de Vries. So it is myself driving as Antoine Hubert leading the way from Sergio Sette-Camera in second, Nick de Vries in third, and Nicholas Latifi in fourth. That was a beautiful first few quarters, and now we have to try and settle into this race, defend from Sergio Sette-Camera, and when we head for our pit stop phases, which is going to be around about lap 4, we need to have 2 astonishingly fast out laps to make sure that we stay in the lead of this feature race. For those of you guys that don't know that are new to the series, in Formula 2 you have 2 races for the weekend. One on Saturday, it is the feature race, it is the long race where at least 1 mandatory pit stop is needed. Then you've got a sprint race on the Sunday, which is basically like it says, a sprint race. You're on the hardest set of tires, pushing through all the way to the end. You can stop if you want, but pit stops in F2 are quite a fair bit longer than an F1, so a pit stop in the sprint race will just completely cost you points. And for the sprint race, as you guys see me and Sergio Sette-Camera going side by side heading through the first 2 corners, how it works in the feature race, the top 8, how they finish, are completely swapped around in the sprint race. So the top 8, how they finish in the race you guys are currently watching, when it gets to the sprint race, those top 8 will be swapped around, and in the sprint race, only the top 8 get points. So that means if you do not finish in the top 8 in the sprint race, you will not get points. It's also a reduced amount of points. I think first is 15 points instead of 25, where still a fastest lap will achieve you an extra 2 points, just like in the feature race. So, and also, the person that qualifies in P1 with qualifying gets a bonus 4 points. So I have already got 4 points on the championship leaderboard, and if I win this race with fastest lap, it'll be a further 27 points. Without fastest lap, just 25 points. But that is basically how it works in F2 for those of you guys that are new to the channel, that are new to F2. So trust me, there's a lot of action in my F2 videos, so please stay tuned. If you haven't yet, drop a like down below, it's highly appreciated. As we head onto the end of lap 4, we dive it into the pit lane to try and get the undercut going. You guys can see nobody is following me into the pit lane, so it is only us in the pit lane. We are going to come out in a solid P20. FIFA P20. No, I'm just joking. Then we will try and get to immensely quick outlaps going. For those of you guys that also don't know, unlike Formula 1 where you have tire blankets for the cars, for the tires, tire blankets for the cars, you brilliant turbo. In any case, you don't have tire blankets for the tires in F2. So as you guys can see, my tires are stone cold, stone age type of cold. So I spin the car coming out of the pit lane, and these first few corners I really put a lot of pressure through the tires to make sure that they heat up, because your outlap on cold tires, especially if you're defending from something like, well, defending a lead of a Grand Prix, the sooner you get these tires up to temperature, the better. And as we head to the very next lap, the man that took the lead from myself, Sergio Sette-Camera, is diving it into the pit lane along with a few other drivers. Guys, the default strategy said the earliest pit stop is lap 5. I minus it by 1 lap because I saw that the harder compound of tire would run to the end of the Grand Prix. In Formula 2 you also only have 2 tire compounds for the weekend, but they are 2 softness different. So say for instance, if you guys know my F1 career better, say you have a soft, your harder compound is a hard. There's nothing like a medium. So you've got a soft tire and a hard tire, and they are 2 compounds apart. So the difference between the soft and the hard tires when they are new is quite substantial. But in any case, as you guys see, this is now the third inheritance of the lead. Nick de Vries diving it into the pit lane. I can tell you guys with confidence, we did exit, well, come around for ours to start our 6th lap ahead of Sergio Sette-Camera as he came out of the pit lane. So now as you guys see, Nick de Vries is done with his pit stop. We are searching for ourselves. There we are ahead of Sergio Sette-Camera. Are we going to be ahead of Nick de Vries? We run down the home straight. No DRS because there's nobody in front of us. But there's Nick de Vries coming out of the pit lane. As you guys can see, it's very close heading into the first quarter. He will be able to brake later because he's at a much lower speed. There we go. We nearly clipped the front wing of Nick de Vries, but we have successfully defended our P1 position. And now it is to to switch on our shields to run to the end of this feature race. Yeah, baby, let's go. It is ourselves versus Nick de Vries, who has actually jumped Sergio Sete Camera because guys, remember, before the pit stop phases, Sergio was in P2. So the two Dams cars are P3 and P4 with Latifi in 4th. I'm running through the top 10, guys. I was just too quick with the top 10 here for myself speaking. So you guys, yeah, it is Latifi 4th, Jack Aitken 5th, 6th is Luca Giotto, 7th is actually Sean Galale, 8th is Guan Yu Zhou, and 10th it is actually Louis Delatraz, or is this 9th? I think that's 9th is Louis Delatraz, and yes, I think 10th is it's actually Ralph Boschong. I might be mistaken about number 10, but that is the top 10 plus minus of how things are looking at this stage. And as you guys see, we head on to the end of lap 11, I think it is, and it is now time for Nick de Vries with his 2-lap fresher tires to start piling on the pressure with my tires. Guys, trust me, in F2, 2 laps are not like in F1. It is an absolutely humongous difference. Like, seriously. Because these cars are immensely hard on their tires. As you guys see, I go for a massive dive up the inside to defend my P1 position. Going through T2 and T3. Now, these guys will most probably have DRS on me. Actually, I have DRS. Okay, that's nice. So the second DRS detection line is within T1 and T2. I actually forgot about that. And as you guys see, Nick de Vries is trying as hard as he possibly can, using almost all the grip he has to his advantage, but it is. He's using all the grip he has to his use. In any case, now you guys can see we jump onto the end of lap 12, or is that 13? I can't see on the steering wheels, guys. Guys, when I do the commentary, my screen is really small, so I can't really see the laps that good, but I try and make it out. As you guys see, we jump into the vehicle of Sergio Sete Camera, who is the 3rd place man, running behind myself and Nick de Vries. As you guys see, Nick de Vries goes for a move up the inside. I am late into the brakes. I am a little bit deep into T1. I might have just given the lead away to Nick de Vries. As we enter T2, there's almost got between myself and Nick de Vries. A little bit of the elbows getting out there. But as you guys see, this is now Jack Aitken trying a move on the 4th place man. Sergio Sete Camera's teammate Nicholas Latifi, and Jack Aitken in the Campos racing car gets himself into P4. So the top 4 cars are all 4 different constructors. Not that they are different teams, but different cars, but they are different teams. As you guys see, Nick de Vries is still trying to pressure me as we head on to the beginning of the next lap. And now Jack Aitken is trying to size up a move on Sergio Sete Camera to get that Campos racing car onto the podium. And as you guys see, I'm still under immense pressure. I stick to the outside to try and take the esports line. And as you guys see, this is Jack Aitken bouncing a move around the outside of Sergio Sete Camera. He's around the outside, around T4. They are heading side by side into my favorite section of the track. It's a very tight S section. But Jack Aitken goes around the outside of Sergio Sete Camera, and he has got that Campos racing car up into P3. And now he is most probably chasing after myself and Nick de Vries, who are battling hammer and tongs for the lead of this Grand Prix. There's only a few laps to go. I think actually this is the start of the final lap of the race. The DRS is open for Nick de Vries as well as for Jack Aitken, but Jack decided to stay out of the slipstream. And as you guys see, Nick de Vries is going for a move around the outside as we head into the first quarter for the final time of this feature race. It is very tight between myself and Nick de Vries, but I can be just later onto the brakes thanks to him having a much higher top speed thanks to DRS and slipstream assistance. Heading into T4, he is still trying to pressure me. He's going for a move on the inside. I have to leave him the space. I run a bit wide with my tires already being quite worn. We are now side by side heading into my favorite section of the track, the very tight S section. I'm around the outside! That's very close to contact, but I defend my P1. Heading into the second 2 hairpin. Early onto the brakes to get the car to turn in. These tires of mine are really starting to fall off of the cliff, guys. It is lap 16. It is the final lap. Oh, damn it, I missed a gear there. I double upshift accidentally. Heading into the very tight hairpin. It's almost contact. The Vries squeezed me to the inside. I bounced the car over the cliff. Nearly didn't get my car stopped for the corner. Jack Aitken tries to mount a move around on the inside. What happened to Nick de Vries? I think he was forced off the track. Oh, we're going to have to look at a replay of that, guys. I do not know who's at fault there, myself or Nick de Vries. No contact was made, but there's just no space as the corner starts bending to go into the hairpin. Oh my soul, and Sergio Sete Camera goes for a move on Jack Aitken. Sergio has gotten himself back into P2. Everything is popping off here in Bahrain for the feature race. It is now myself going down the back straight for the final time, the second back straight for the final time. Heading into the final corner, I have to have a good exit, otherwise Sergio can catch me before we get to the line. I bounce the car over the inside curb, second gear, third gear. It's a beautiful exit from myself. And guys, the first race of the season, and we take the win here in Bahrain. Get in there, lad. But what about that crash? Well, not crash, but what about that situation with myself and Nick de Vries? Oh my word. This is going to be crazy. Guys, let's have a replay. You guys can see I accidentally double shift into fourth gear. It bogs me down. And as my car bounces over the inside curve, it just wouldn't turn in. It just wouldn't stop. And I think that Nick de Vries just avoided contact and completely went off the track. Guys, I wouldn't say this is my fault. I wouldn't say this is de Vries' fault. I just think it can be classified as a racing incident, but you can't classify it as a racing incident because there was no contact.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Arden today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
As they make their way down to the podium, there's no denying the strength of the Arden team. Arden aren't afraid to take risks on new talent, and it certainly looks like it paid off today. Fantastic work. And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Antoine Hubert, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
I choose Callum Elliott, the English driver. He was so aggressive today, he made the difference just in that.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. Dam's move to the top of the table. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. Welcome one and all to the 2019 Formula 2 World Championship. A new season and a new lineup of drivers hungry to make their mark on the world of motorsport. Some new names and some returning favourites, all here to stake a claim on the championship title. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, commentating on the feature race end, guys, I wouldn't say I'm at fault. I also wouldn't say Nick de Vries is at fault. Just two cars don't go very well side by side through that section. I know it looks like I tried to force Nick off of the track, and it wasn't my intention. It honestly wasn't.
Watch the RPM on a full start. We don't want to bog down.
Thank you, Jeff. We know that by now. In any case, guys, it wasn't my intention to force him off. I just think I was so panicked because I basically short-shifted from second to fourth and then had to downshift back to third, and that just gave Nick a beautiful line through there. So yeah, to all the Nick de Vries fans, I apologize, but I just feel that needs to be classified as hard racing, and unfortunately stuff like that happens. In any case, guys, it is time for the sprint race here at Bahrain, a full 12 laps as we head to 5 red lights for the sprint race here at Bahrain, and it's go, go, go! for the sprint race. Louis Delatraz is on the front row with Guan Yu Zhou alongside him. Sean Gelael is in P3. Remember what I said, guys, the top 8 of the feature race will get swapped around for the sprint race. And as you guys see, Louis Delatraz and Guan Yu Zhou are side by side heading into the first corner. It is Sean Gelael in P3 with Luca Giotto in P4. Louis Delatraz actually keeps the lead of the sprint race at this stage with Guan Yu Zhou still in second. Guan Yu Zhou has a look on the inside but decides against it. And for Colin, Louis Delatraz is leading the sprint race. Jumping back to my POV for my start, guys. And as you guys see, I have a very good timing of the lights. I bog a little bit in second gear, but it's not a bad start from our side at all. As you guys see, this is Sergio Santacamera trying to defend, and I also go up the inside of Jack Aitken. I slow the car down and still give Jack the space, but I think I've made the move stick on Sergio. I have to go a little bit wide through T2 to give Jack the space. I went a little bit too wide there. Guys, remember, I drive from inside cockpit view, so I thought we were almost touching wheels there. But in any case, guys, going around the outside of Jack Aitken into T4. I had a little bit of a track extension there, but it was to avoid running into the back of Jack. I was a little bit too late onto the brakes, and now Sergio is trying to take back his P7 from myself, but I am having none of it. I mount the curb of the second ace, heading into the hairpin. It is Sergio on my inside. Dams versus BWT Arden. We head through the hairpin. Don't short shift into 4 that I have a repeat of what happened at the end of the feature race. Heading into the very tight corner, that's a much more beautiful sequence, and we defend our P7 from Sergio Santacamera. Well, actually, we take the move. Sergio tried to get back his P7 where he started. But in any case, we are now trying to chase after Jack Aitken, guys. Just as quickly there, Sergio tries to mount another move. We defend the position beautifully, and now it is time to head after Jack Aitken to see if we can get this car maybe to the top 5. I would be more than happy with a P5, but I'm going to try and aim for a podium, guys. Guys, I'm really going to push with Antoine Hubert this season. I am set on winning the championship for Antoine Hubert because, guys, if you guys know Antoine Hubert's history with his racing, he was destined to one day be an F1, and I absolutely know he would have won an F2 season eventually. I actually think if he still lived, 2020 would have been his F2 season, but you never know. I could still be wrong, but we will never know. We will absolutely never know. Heading on to the middle sector of lap 2, guys. We go for a massive dive up the inside of Jack Aitken, heading into the hair, but there's a little bit of contact from my side, but I give Jack the space on the outside. He's going to have a better run coming out of the corner. Hopefully don't repeat what happened in the feature race. Ooh, that's a beautiful dummy from my side. We dive to the inside of Jack Aitken, heading into that very tight corner. Guys, that is the best move I think I've ever made on the Bahrain International Circuit. It was an absolutely beautiful move. Guys, I gave Jack the space on the outside. The contact wasn't as hefty as I thought it was, so I don't think I need to apologize for that. Guys, I dummy him from the outside to the inside. That was absolutely beautifully done. Just a little tip of the wheels, his left front against my right rear. But that was absolutely beautifully done, and I deserve a pat on the back for that one. That was absolutely beautiful. So now, guys, heading on to that very same section as I'm on the back of Nicholas Latifi as a lock-up heading into the hairpin. A little bit of panic there from Nicholas Latifi as he sees that pink Panther in his background, and that's another position for us now. So we went P7, we overtook Jack, that's P6, we overtook Nicholas Latifi, so that we are now in P5. Guys, that is absolutely brilliant, and we are now sizing up a move on Luca Giotto, heading into T1, late onto the brakes, get the car stopped, and dive to the inside. We give Luca the space. He's got the inside for T2. It's very tight, but we have to run as we head into T3 and now up the hill to T4. And as you guys see, it is also Sean Gelael trying to mount a move on Guan Yu Zhou in the Univirtuosi car. It is Primo versus Univirtuosi racing, and it is Sean Gelael around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou. They are side by side heading into the S section. Guan Yu Zhou has the inside for the first S. Sean Gelael the inside for the second S. Heading into the hip, and Guan Yu Zhou will have the inside for the hip, but it is very, very tight. But Sean is going to have the exit. So come on, Gelael, come on! It is basically Junior Renault versus Junior Ferrari team. It is a very tight squeeze going through the corner where I made a beautiful move on Jack Aitken. But I think Gelael has got the move done on Zhou. And yes, he has, but Zhou has got DRS. Okay, Gelael also has DRS. Heading into the very fast S section of the track. That is Sean Gelael into P2. And as you guys see, it is now myself who has caught up to the rear end of Guan Yu Zhou. And I'm going to try and get myself onto the podium That is what I am aiming for. I've got DRS open 300 plus kilometers an hour. Late onto the brakes. I go for a very late dive up the inside. The latest of the late breakers. Hashtag sucker Daniel Ricciardo. Up the outside of T2, but we get the move done, and that is a beautiful move up into P3 of this Grand Prix. But Guan Yu Zhou is not having anything of it. He tries to get back his podium position. We are side by side heading through T4, now going into T5 and T6. It is very tight between myself and the Chinese driver. I'm on the outside for the first S, but I give him a little bit of a pinch to the inside, and that is us up into the podium positions. But Zhou had nothing of it. He was pressuring me until the very last lap, and actually the two leaders were starting to get away. I tried to get rid of Zhou, but he just had none of it, and now we are battling away for P3 as the two leaders are battling away for P1. So for P1 it is Louis Delatraz v Sean Galail, and for P3 it is Antoine Hubert v Guan Yu Zhou v Luca Giotto. I dive to the other to stick to the racing, the esports line. There's contact! It is myself and Zhou into the side of one another. Oh, come on! 2 races, 2 incidents right before the end. Guys, this, I stayed on the inside. I made my one singular move to the outside. Zhou, I left the door open, but he locked up and he just ran into my side pod. Guys, I gave him more than enough space. I didn't even go to hit the apex. I tried to give him room, but I wanted to take the esports line so I could have the max amount of speed coming out of the corner. You guys can see it's just smoke from Zhou's car, and he just couldn't get his car stopped. That is not my fault. I gave him more than enough space. But guys, that is basically the end of this race. Louis Delatraz has successfully defended from the junior Ferrari driver Sean Galail, and Louis Delatraz is going to round the final corner, and he is going to come home to win the sprint race for Carlin here at Bahrain. That is a beautiful race from Louis Delatraz, Sean Galail in P2, and myself driving as Antoine Hubert in P3. Beautiful GP, beautiful weekend.
So another fantastic victory for Carlin today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Antoine Hubert, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Alex, I choose Joan Manuel Correa. Just impressed me in the overtakes maneuver, so well done to him.
And now a look at the team standings. Dam's move to the top of the table. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling installment when Formula 2 returns.
Guys, what a weekend. We bank a full, let's quickly work it out, 4 points for qualifying in P1. We got 25 points for the feature race. We did not get fastest lap, unfortunately. So that's 29. Plus, I actually don't know how much I got for the sprint race. I actually need to go check out the sprint race points tally to make sure that I actually count up my points right. But you guys at any case saw the points with the championship standings. We are leading the championship. That is exactly how I wanted to start this season. You guys know we started off the 2018 F2 season with a little bit of a bad luck start. We didn't know that you only had a limited amount of tires for the weekend, and that your tires did not, they didn't save specific tires for the sprint race, and I used all my tires in my qualifying, practice and feature race, so I had nothing left for the sprint race. So for the first time ever, we have finished a sprint race in Formula 2 at Bahrain. Oh, what is life? But guys, that has been this episode. thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. This 2019 Formula 2 season is going to be absolutely epic. I'm almost guaranteeing you guys it's going to be much closer than the 2018 F2 season, so please stay tuned. And to keep yourself staying tuned, please go down below, hit that subscribe button, don't forget to ding that bell so you will have all your notifications come through on your phone or your PC or whatever. Don't miss a future episode. If you like what you've seen today, please leave a like down below. It's only going to take you 2 seconds. I highly appreciate it. As well as share this video with your friends if you really liked it a lot, because you guys are the word of mouth, and you guys is what's going to make the channel grow. Sorry guys, my English is terrible, but I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!